Let's talk about how to scale a coaching business. Hiring a virtual assistant isn't scaling. Posting more content isn't scaling. Scaling is selling more in a way that doesn't break your business. Let's look at it this way. If your systems aren't built right, then scaling will break them faster. In this episode, we'll discuss what needs to happen first before you try to scale and how you can scale the right way. Let's dive right in. So we need to look at 4 things that coaches think they need to do in order to scale, or 4 ways that coaches look at scaling that is inaccurate. Okay, so number 1 is they think that scaling means automation, hiring, or building a course. That's a very common one. They think that I'm going to be able to scale through a course. I want you to know that I know hundreds and hundreds of coaches, and building a course is not the key to helping you scale your business. The next myth is that building a group program means that they're ready to scale. If you're not scaling your business before you build a group program will not help you to scale. Now, I don't know if this is a myth or a belief or misconception, but I see a lot of coaches that want to scale before they've laid their foundation. They don't even have consistency in their business. They don't have enough revenue to cover their bills, and yet they're ready to scale. The last myth I want to talk about is that posting more or being on more platforms is going to help you scale, and that just won't work. It doesn't help. What that does is it just increases the noise, and you feel like you're doing more things or you're being more productive, but it doesn't scale any results. So there are 3 areas, 3 foundations you need to build first and have momentum. They all need to be working together, all 3 of these areas, before you can scale. So area number 1 is your marketing, your lead generation. Do you have a way of attracting leads on demand? Where are your leads going to come from? How do you do it? Is it through a networking event? Do you go to events? Have you dialed that in? Or is it through paid ads? Have you figured out organic search so that the people that are searching for you can find you? How have you figured that out? Have you figured out your lead generation? Area number 2 is sales. When you have a conversation with somebody, can you turn a lead, can you turn somebody who's qualified into a customer or a client? What is your sales process? And don't tell me that you've got a beautiful website. Don't tell me you've created a sales page. Even if you give me pushback and tell me, I made a sale yesterday for my landing page. If that's the case, and that's the only way you're making sales, then you've got a gold mine in front of you that you are refusing to tap into. You need to figure out how to have conversations and how to have sales. From every 1 sale that you make on your website, you could be making 100 or more sales in a conversation, and at a much higher price point. There's a limit to what people will buy on a web page, but when you have a conversation, you can really connect. They will have a lot more confidence that you can deliver an outcome to them. The third area is fulfillment. Okay, can you deliver? When you promise that outcome, do you have systems in place? Do you have a team in place to deliver that outcome? Are all of your clients going to get the result? What can you guarantee that you will do? And what can you put in your agreement that your clients are required to do to ensure that they will get that end result? If I do my part and if you do your part, we will get that end result. Do you have that in place, right? So you've got 3 different areas. You've got your marketing, your sales, and your fulfillment. Which area is the weakest? We'll focus on that. You need to have momentum in all 3 before we can even talk about scaling your business. In the beginning, as you're building out these 3 things, and as you're trying to build that momentum, offer one-on-one coaching. And keep offering one-on-one coaching. And eventually you're going to max out your schedule. And I don't want you to go beyond that. I want you to cap your one-on-one schedule. Scaling does not mean putting in more hours than you desire. Like if your fulfilling day is an 8-hour work day, I want you to cap it at 8 hours. And once you start to hit that cap, it's at that point that you can start to offer group coaching. Group coaching can only really help you to scale your business if you do it in the right order. Now, creating systems sounds complicated, but as you figure all this out and you figure out how to get a client from going to point A to point B, whatever that looks like, and however many steps are in between, a system means you actually just document it. You write it down so that there's a path or a process, or you use some type of tool that every client goes through the same steps to get to that outcome, because then you can have somebody else run that system. You can train them. So you created the system, they run the system. There's checks and balances to make sure that your clients are being taken care of. Now, you need to build a system before you hire help. And your help cannot build the system for you. So you need to create the system internally, then map it out so you actually have a system that you can show and teach someone. Then you hire them and they know exactly what they're going to do because you created a system. They know the blueprint to follow. Now, once you've done a process manually, you can test an automation to see if it makes things more efficient, to see if it frees up your time or improves the results. Don't create an automation before you have a system, because you're going to be automating and spending time automating things that aren't important steps, that are things that aren't going to help you get better results. Now let's talk about the marketing side. There's a lot of things that you can do on the marketing, especially when you think about all the different types of advertising that you can do. I want you to consider evergreen content. If you can create content that actually is marketing for you, and you can take your hands off and it continues to bring in leads for you, that's the most valuable type of marketing and the most valuable type of content that you can create. Because think of this, you create one piece of evergreen marketing content, now you've got this little marketing engine out there working for you. You can create another one, and another one, and another one. That actually builds momentum. That actually allows you to scale and to grow. So that's why here on this channel, I talk so much about YouTube and creating YouTube content, because the content you put on YouTube is evergreen and it's searchable. Content you put on other social media is not evergreen. Now, if you think about those three areas, right, and you figure out how to service people, to really help people get results, your content becomes the multiplier. Your content can allow you to scale a business that already has that foundation built. And when you create the right type of content, it'll bring in sales, not just views. A successful video isn't a video that has 1 million views. A successful video is one that brings in revenue. So let me ask you this. You have 2 videos. One video had 1 million views on it, but it brought in 0 customers. Another video had 112 views and it brought in 7 customers. Which one was more successful? So stop focusing on going viral. Focus on building your business, building your systems, making sure you have a solid foundation and you have momentum, and then start to scale the right way with evergreen content. So if you follow the advice in this video and you build that solid foundation and you feel like you really are ready to scale, now's the time for you to learn the LEAF strategy. Okay, I'm going to link to another video right there. It's called the LEAF strategy. One of the things you'll learn in that video is how to rank #1 on YouTube. You'll learn about authority marketing. You'll learn how to attract the right people and build referral quality relationships and leads from YouTube. So you've got to check this out. I'll see you in that episode.